My daughter, who's now 17, she was 11 at that time. She goes to this international school in Bombay, and she said, "Dad, have you heard of Black Lives Matter?" And I said, "Yeah, baby, have you heard of Dalit Lives Matter?" And so I said, let's make a film.
देख रहे हैं काफी एक्शन यहाँ पे करते हुए, तो आपको तरस नहीं आया लोगों को मारते हुए?
नहीं, इस फिल्म में मुझे बिल्कुल तरस नहीं आया मारते हुए लोगों को.
John has already got us all very excited with that post, applauding your performance of course, and he has given that bit of the scope also कि interval के आसपास में थोड़ा सा tight देख के बैठिएगा.
The interval scene उसने बोला because he is very good in this.
He's also underlined it. Overall, honestly, for me, it was like a dream come true because this is the genre which I always thought that I will be fit.
So hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Spill the Beans on CNN News 18. I'm your host Sakshi Litoriya. Present with me is the beautiful cast and in fact the director of upcoming movie Vedaa. We have Nikkhil Advani, Sharvari, very beautiful of course, and Abhishek Banerjee joining us for the chat. Thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. Nikhil ji, directly आपसे मैं शुरुआत करना चाहती हूँ. The ace director, what was the inspiration behind Vedaa?
What was the inspiration?
Yes.
I just wanted to make a big film which I don't know which I was tired of doing good films which most people would come to me and say यार मैंने देखा यार, but they saw it after 2 years. So I wanted to make a big film, but I'm compelled to make a big film and I want to tell a good story. So it took me some time to write it, and so the inspiration actually was my daughter, who's now 17. She was 11 at that time, and she goes to this international school in Bombay, and she said, "Dad, have you heard of Black Lives Matter?" And I said, "Yeah, baby, have you heard of Dalit Lives Matter?" And so I said, let's make a film. Let's sing. You know, so I mean, I'm making it sound lazy, but yeah, I just felt that I really want to tell a film, make a film where I've got action and I've got drama and I've got good actors and dialogue bazi, and you know, Milap taught me a lot of that when he did Satyamay Jayate, and he did it very well. The first one he did very well, you know, beautifully done, and Manoj Bajpayee and John Abraham. So if you can put John Abraham with Abhishek Banerjee and then on top of that you have the story of a girl who is fighting for justice. It's a Sone Pe Suhaga.
Bilkul. And since you have mentioned the girl, we have very beautiful Sharvari. I've already mentioned it. I'm not getting tired of mentioning that again and again. Sharvari. देख रहे हैं काफी एक्शन यहाँ पे करते हुए, तो आपको तरस नहीं आया लोगों को मारते हुए?
नहीं, इस फिल्म में मुझे बिल्कुल तरस नहीं आया मारते हुए लोगों को. But yeah, honestly, it's just been an incredible experience. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
And we have seen the picture, by the way, of you learning the boxing and all. How was the experience? How difficult was it for you?
It was difficult because I hadn't learned boxing before this. I had never played the sport. I never even put on a boxing glove in my hand. And any sport to learn is not as easy. But I think it's a lot of fun. So as I started learning boxing, I started to really enjoy the sport. I had an incredible trainer. His name is Prakash. He taught me boxing. He also made me physically fit enough to learn boxing, which was also a very major aspect, because you can't just learn the sport without having stamina, without having the right physical requirements. So I think that he really worked very hard with me, and I had a very good time because it's my first action film. And action films are generally very demanding, because to sell action you need to do it convincingly, you know, and I think conviction is the main thing when it comes to action. So now whatever gets an actor to get themselves convinced. So when I was doing boxing, I think my conviction lied that I should learn the sport perfect. And that made me convinced. So hence that conviction probably converted into confidence when I was doing it. So for me, it was a lot of fun, because if you get to learn something new with every film, I think that's a dream of an actor. So I got to learn a lot, even when it comes to the dialect. When it, we had a great coach, Mahadev. He taught us Rajasthani, and without him, I don't think that I would be able to speak this language or even think in this language. We did a lot of workshops, and this whole process of prep has been, it's like a gold mine for me. I've learned so much that I'm just very excited to use all of this in everything that I do in the future.
And with every movie we are listening, you speaking different kind of languages also. But since you have touched upon this is your
Yes.
first action film, this is your first action film as well, Abhishek.
Yes, it is.
How difficult was it for you? Because John has already got us all very excited with that post, applauding your performance of course, and he has given that bit of the scoop also कि इंटरवल के आसपास में थोड़ा सा टाइट रह के बैठिएगा because आपसे कुछ बहुत अच्छा एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं हम लोग. How was it for you?
It's first of all too kind of him and too
इंटरवल
sweet of
सीन
him
उसने
to-
बोला because he is very good in this.
He's also underlined it.
Because Vedaa is like is action star becomes an actor and actor becomes an action star. Really, at the end of the day, that's a very big. John is very good in the film. Very very good in the film.
आप हमें और एक्साइटेड कर रहे हो ये सब बता के.
वही तो point है. नहीं, I mean, I think overall, honestly, for me, it was like a dream come true because this is the genre which I always thought that I will be fit, you know. But and in fact, my first film with Devashish Makhija was Ajji. It was not an action film, but it was a dark, gritty thriller. And I thought, yeah, this is my, this is my way forward. But somehow Amar Kaushik saw a different character in me because he knows me personally also. So, I got, in a way, a little typecasted in comedy.
Yeah.
The way I was getting the offers, uske baad bhi kuch offers aaye the, I was very worried. And I remember COVID happened and I was like, oh damn, I think ab mujhe, these are the kind of roles which people are going to offer and I don't know how to change the view because what I also understood is that it's not a negative thing, but I think it's what happens is even in casting I've seen unless people have seen you perform a particular part, particular character, it takes them time to believe
Definitely.
in an actor, and that's why na ye time lamba lagta hai. When people say na ki yaar he was a special, I don't want to take names, but someone was a special actor and it took him 10 years or 20 years to finally get his due. It's because we don't really use our imagination
Bilkul.
and to understanding a character's or an actor's strong points or craft or skill. So yeah, I mean, I was very worried, but thankfully Patal Lok, changed the whole graph for me, and that is when I started believing that okay, now this definitely opens many doors for me, and now what do I want to so I was just hungry, and I'm still greedy and hungry, and I just wanted to do whatever I could in that period. But one thing was missing, and that was action. And I was like, yeah, सब कर लिया, अब मैं कैसे believe करूँ कि मैं action कर सकता हूँ, and I can actually, I might also look believable when I do it. It's because that's the thing, how to break the notion.
That we'll get to know.
And thankfully he visualized me. He visualized me as Jitendra Pratap Singh.
Yeah,
and
but
that's why could do it.
I just feel that it's very overrated when you think that action is only about breaking bones and
Yeah, indeed.
everything is actually Shah Rukh has a great story, and there is a great story of Shah Rukh Khan and the film Dar.
Yeah.
It's an incredible story where in the climax there was supposed to be another actor before Shah Rukh who had been narrated the script, and Sunny Deol is playing the role, right? And Sunny Deol is, there is a John Abraham, there is a Sunny Deol. John Abraham का बाप कौन होगा? Really true father of John Abraham as an action person is Sunny Deol. And Sunny Deol and the actor who was narrated the script, I can't take his name because it becomes very controversial. And he said, for every blow that Sunny Deol gives me, I'll hit him back. I think Adi was very instrumental in that, and they said, no, it can't happen because Sunny is Sunny, nobody can do this. And Shah Rukh heard the script and he said that I have only one condition, I won't hit him.
Acha. Without touching, I'll become
I won't
the
hit him.
villain.
Let him hit me. Let him hit me.
Yeah.
Action does not have to be only about, it just has to be, it's on the face, and he said, I will get it. So if you see Dar, he hits him only once in the end. And I was in the theatre, 1994. And that theatre erupts because by the time he hits him, the theatre is saying mar. Ab mar. Ab mar. Mar. And that's what I did with John. Actually, for an action star, right, I just held him back in the whole first half. Because you know very well what he's capable of. He's not. This girl is getting beaten up. कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. अरे यार कुछ कर. तू सबको तोड़ सकता है. तू सबको फोड़ सकता है. कुछ नहीं कर रहा. Then he goes and has a conversation with him.
Wow.
And he says that first I believe in Batcheet, then I believe in
Mar.
you decide what you do. And then the film takes off. That's the film. That's the scene where whoop, the film that now you know, arre. Now you sit up and you say, Chalo, Arvi, ho gayi. You know, as John likes to say, now the film starts.
Yeah, but even for someone like John, I remember I had gone to meet him before the shoot of Alpha and I wanted some tips. And John, who is obviously, I mean, I don't think anybody looks better as an action superstar than John, had told me that action is here. Just remember that. And I mean, he gave me that tip. So I think he himself also, you know, like he knows that. And I think that's what it is. Like
Definitely.
I had gone to him thinking that he'll tell me, okay, in fact, I went to him with names of 5 trainers and then I said, which trainer should I go to? You know, like, okay, so then what body part? Like, will I do this? Will I do this? And I was like really getting into this. And after he answered all my questions, told me all the names of the trainers, then he told me one thing to remember, which was action is here. Just remember that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Nikhil, my next question to you would be a bit critical because this is something that a lot of us as viewers want clarity on. Do you think over the years people have become very critical of judging the movie when it is being released in theatres because now OTT is there in the scenario, and Abhishek has also mentioned how COVID was very challenging for all of us. We have got access to, you know, one button and everything is on our screen. Now as a director, do you think releasing movie on theatre has become very difficult over the years?
Of course, 110%. There's no question about it. I mean, it's why would you want to go? It's very expensive to go to the cinema halls, and it's not as if people just go to the cinema halls. They go to the cinema halls after they have dinner, or they have dinner and drinks, and they go out with people, and it's now become almost like it's like an event, right? It's like an occasion. So you have to get value for the money you're spending. So it's very tough. It's extremely tough. But having said that, I mean, at the end of the day, we are filmmakers. I mean, we also I released a film called Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway last year, and we released it. An incredible Z Studio Bhumika said we'll release it in 535 screens. Only 535 screens saw Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway. It was houseful in every screen. It was actually testament to the fact that Rani Mukherjee is a massive star actor, whatever you want to call her. People just kept coming, and then it went on to OTT, and it did the numbers that it did on OTT because of it went on to Netflix, and it did the numbers that it did, which is number 4 most watched content of Netflix, everywhere globally. So of course there is this notion that, you know, that there was people are trying to figure out cinema, OTT, different content. Then now they have figured out that actually people want to go to the cinemas, want to spend the money, but they want value, and they will also then watch it on OTT
later,
right? Because you're sitting in the house, you're watching this thing. Honestly, I don't know when was the last time I actually wanted to go and watch something on OTT. You go now, you check, okay, I'll watch this, right? So very few things come across. Family Man आ रहा है यार, चलो देखते हैं. मिर्जापुर आ रहा है यार, चलो देखते हैं. ये पाताल लोग अभी वापस आने वाला है, चलो. अरे हथौड़े था कि नहीं है उसमें, वो तो मर गया था. चल ठीक है, नहीं देखते. You know that kind of. So it's very tough. It's very tough. It's very tough.
Bilkul. Sharvari, what kind of role next would you like to pick up?
Interesting.
Because I've seen, we all have seen the social media post of.
Yes, yes, of course I am shooting for Alpha. Honestly, I would love to do more action films. I would love to solidify myself also in that genre. I think that the fact that there are action films that are being made with women, it's almost like shattering glass ceilings. There's an action film that's called Vedaa. There is a film called Alpha where you have two women doing action. And I think that it's incredible because if young girls can watch cinema like this and feel strong, feel like they can do action, feel like they can stand up for themselves, I think it would be an incredible time in this world. So for sure, why not? I would like to solidify myself as an action superstar. I've started with John, so I think I must take up inspiration.
And you got the special shout out from Alia Bhatt also very recently.
Yes,
The girl is on
yes.
fire, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not the least, Abhishek,
Yes.
since you are playing the antagonistic role this time around, there's always a story nowadays in our films that a villain also has a story, a backstory, why he exactly become the villain. What would be the story that you would want your audience to pick up from the character that you will be playing in Vedaa?
What would be the story? I mean, I hope they doubt. I hope they doubt some of the sensibilities we grew up with. I think that would be a win for sure. That if they can question certain facts about the very society we live in, especially the ones who are staying in metro cities and cosmopolitan societies, who completely forget that Bharat is very different from India. So if they can start questioning certain things and certain mindsets, then I'll be very happy.
Lovely. So that was very constructive and something that has made me even more excited for 15th of August. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Vedaa is coming in your nearby theatres. Thank you so much for
Thank
speaking
you.
to
Thank you.
CNN News
Thank you.
18 and Spill the Beans. Thank you.
Thank you.